Hello YouTubers! If you want to chip tune your car, process which is called remapping in the UK, or you want to run a chip tuning business, then this info is just for you. In this first episode we will discuss basic information about chip tuning and how things are done. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Nikolai and I am from Bulgaria. I have 5 years experience with Renault as a diagnostic technician and more than 7 years with Citroën and Peugeot as a workshop engineer. In addition, I have received technical training with Kotec training in Renault, France, as well as the Peugeot Training Center in Croatia. I have participated in a diesel chip tuning course with Alientech in Italy. Chip tuning is nothing more than a process to make your car run faster or slower, but not many customers want this slower option. So, if you want a tuning file for your car or DPF or EGR modifications, then you can contact me by visiting my website. So first, let's see what you can expect from the chip tuning file. Well, to be honest, on a diesel engine with a turbocharger you can accept a 15 to 40 horsepower gain, and this depends on the tuning stage, whether it is a 1, 2 or 3. Other big factors are the condition of the airflow sensor, the condition of the turbocharger together with the engine shape and engine capacity. Of course, the bigger the engine, the better the result. On the other hand, if you own a diesel car without turbocharger, then I don't recommend that you chip tune it at all, as the result will be higher fuel consumption, more exhaust smoke, with very little positive effect. Many people wonder how the car becomes more efficient after modification. Well, here is the explanation. After the modification, your engine torque will be a lot higher and therefore you will change gear earlier in a lower RPM range, consequentially saving fuel. Also, in most cases, during file preparation, the software is enhanced by fuel from, let's say, the middle of the engine table, but the turbo pressure from the beginning of the map. As a result, you will receive more power with less fuel and more air. This operation must be made very carefully because if you put a lot of air and less fuel, the result will be a lean mixture, which will make the car run faster, especially in petrol engines, but it can damage the engine or melt the pistons because of the heat generated in the lean mixture process. For my part, I will focus on diesel engines only, as I am not so experienced in petrol tuning modifications, but can say that on 100 horsepower petrol engine, the likely gain is only around 3 to 5% in horsepower, which is why I don't recommend chip tuning atmospheric or non-turbo engines. Let's go to next chapter. Why there are different prices? As you should expect, there is not just one answer. Firstly, and most importantly, is that the price is dictated by the fuel system of your car. Older fuel systems are cheaper in general, and newer ones more expensive, because nowadays we have tri-core processors in the engine ECU and also tuning protected computers, which still can be chip tuned but will cost more. ECU stands for Engine Control Unit, sometimes referred to as ECM or Engine Control Module, but think of it as the computer that controls your engine. On very old systems like Bosch MSA12, fuel systems fitted on Volkswagen Golf 3, Passat 4 TDI and other, the ECU must be opened and the chips desoldered from the board and replaced because they are one-time programmable. The chips in these types of computers can be different. Some of them are called DIP and others are PLCC, but we won't go too deep into this. Anyway, after that came Bosch EDC15 with internal memory flash 29F400 and similar. As an example, we can mention Peugeot 307 2-liter engine, 110 horsepower, and many Mercedes cars like the old C-Class, Sprinter and others. All of these memories can be programmed via the OBD connector, and it's not necessary to open the ECU. If writing procedure fails, then you can write the file with an EEPROM programmer, my favorite being the Celtec, which can sometimes be a real lifesaver. I think these are the most chip tuning friendly ECUs to work with. After EDC15 came The EDC16 systems from Bosch. The most important info for them is that you can read their flash software via the OBD connector. But in most cases only 1/3 of the file. You will have a file size of 1 to 2 megabytes, but unfortunately most of the file will be full of FF symbols, or 2/3 empty, but still enough for chip tuning. So if you want a full backup for this ECU, then you have to use another method of reading called BDM. BDM stands for Background Debugging Module, and using this method you can read the full flash, EEPROM and processor of the ECU and clone all the data if you want, but you have to open the ECU to read it. BDM readers can be purchased online, but bear in mind that on Mercedes only, the BDM port is on opposite side of the board, and it's very difficult to open this computer without damaging it. Nowadays, the EDC17 fuel systems from Bosch became more and more popular, and you have to be very careful with this because they are so fragile. Some of them are locked against tuning and can be damaged very easily. To be read safely again, they must be opened. There are few original chip tuning tools that can read these type of computers without opening them, and to do this, you can search for CAS V2, Galeto, or CMD, or Mac Pro 2. Up until now, we have only discussed Bosch computers. And believe it or not, no, Bosch did not pay me to mention their ECUs. I simply mention them because they are the most popular in the motor vehicles, and I believe around 70% of cars run using their ECUs. The other brands include Siemens, Delphi, Magneti Marelli, Denso, Delco, Johnson Control, Visteon, and many others. All of them have similar structure and internal components as the Bosch, and they also have locked or protected versions. Now I'll give you a few tips for reading and writing the software from a car ECU correctly. Number 1. Always use a car battery charger during reading and writing procedure. Number 2. Use a charger for your laptop also. Number 3. Always save your original file, and if you can, read the original with 2 different tools. Number 4. After reading is done and your program says turn off the ignition, count slowly to 5 before switching off the ignition. Number 5. Do not rush. Number 6. Keep your telephone and other electronic devices away. Number 7. Leave the laptop on the seat and don't touch it during the process. Number 8. Switch your laptop power saving settings to off. In the control panel you should set your monitor to always on, hard drive at always on, and system to always on. Number 9. After reading, make RAR or compress your files. These are the main rules that will keep you away from trouble during the chip tuning process. I hope you find this video helpful, friends. For more info, to contact me about chip tuning files and software modifications, please visit my webpage www.removeimo.com with double M.